what he would do with it. Once upon a time in the village of Vila, somewhere in the middle belt of Nigeria, there lived an old man, a very rich old man, who had one son, but he had a lot of slaves. He was very rich. He had a lot of slaves. And then he thought to himself what he would do with his belongings, how he would write his will so that no one would cheat his child. So he decided to send this boy to school to acquire knowledge. And by the reason being that when he acquires knowledge, this boy will be able to spend his wealth sensibly. He'll be able to invest it, be able to use it sensibly. So while the boy was away studying abroad, he thought deeply that, okay, he needed to take that decision of writing his will, and he needed to use this opportunity while the boy was away. So what happened is that while the boy was away, while the man was thinking seriously how he was going to ensure that he made a will where nobody would cheat his child out of it, this old man fell very ill. This old man fell very ill, and he was afraid whether he was going to die before the boy returns from the journey. This old man became so afraid and concerned and about what would happen after his demise. He was so afraid that the slaves could kill his son. He was afraid what to do with the slaves. He was afraid how he would write his will. He was afraid of what would happen if he should die before his son returns from study. So he was afraid how much of his property he should leave for his son, whether he should leave anything for the slaves, what he should do with the slaves. He was worried whether the slaves would serve his son the way they served him. A lot of thoughts was going through this old man's head. He was seriously worried. He was sick. Was very sick, and he continued to worry. He didn't know what to do. Those days, there were no lawyers that could help him to share his property. There was no lawyer that could defend his son. There was no lawyer in those days. There were no lawyers. No lawyer services available then too. So the man became very, very sick, even to the point of death. Actually, after the prolonged illness of the old man gave up the ghost. He died. The news got to his son that his father had died. The chief of the slaves was very happy. He was thinking of all sort of things that he would do. He felt that nobody would control him. He felt that the son does not know what the next extent of the riches of his father. So he was so happy. And then the boy decided to come home. He took a break from his study. And the whole villagers came to console him. His father's closest friend also came to him, spoke with him, gave him some advice. What the chief of the slaves did not know is what the old man wrote in his will. The old man did not want anyone to cheat his son of his property, and because he had a lot of it. So what did he do? This old man decided to will all his property, all his belongings to the chief slave. He now will the chief slave. Okay, he willed all his property to the chief slave, with the mind that if his son discovered the will, he would decide to choose the chief slave whom he had willed all his belongings to. After all, whoever owns the slave owns everything that belongs to the slave. So, when the father's closest friend discovered what this old man had done, he understood immediately what this old man wanted his son to do. So what did he do? He called the boy, advised him that on the day that the whole villagers would gather to share his father's property for him according to the will. That was the practice in those days. Whenever anyone died, there was no lawyer to dispute anybody's property, so therefore it has to be done according to what was written down. Okay, but now in the case of this old man, he willed everything that belonged to him to the chief slave. So this boy thought and thought and thought. At first he was angry. He wondered why his father would have to will everything to the chief slave. He wondered of all the things his father could leave for him. He had to leave the chief slave. Wisdom of the old man. If it was you, what would you choose? Would you choose the houses? Would you choose all the slaves? What would you choose? Would you choose the chief slave? Would you choose the money? Would you choose all the farm lands? Well, everyone was waiting for that day when the old man's property will be shared, when the old man's will be read, when everybody was waiting, including the son was waiting, even the chief slave was waiting. All the slaves, all the other slaves were jealous of the chief slave. They felt the old man loved him more than them, and all that. So the day came to share the will. The boy was around. The chief slave was very happy. He that he wore his best slave uniform that day. He wore his chief slave uniform to show everybody that he was the chief slave of the old man. And then the boy came to the village square where the old man's property was to be shared. Then he remembered his father's closest friend's advice. He thought, okay, this man was a very good friend of his father's, so he couldn't have advised him wrongly. Looking at the chief slave as he was just jumping up and down, he felt, man, he had made it in life. If the son was left with nothing, and all that, was ready to give everything the man had. Did not care about the son. So at the point where everything was handed over to him, the chief slave, as soon as he picked on everything that was handed over to him, according to the old man's wish, he asked the boy to now choose from what is left to be picked. He then chose to pick the chief slave, whom his father had willed all his belongings to. And people said, why? The chief slave was even angry. Why? He said, well, his father willed all his property to him, and he chose him because whoever owns the chief slave owns everything. That's it. That's how it goes. The wisdom of the old man. And then everybody in the village was so happy for the boy. The father's closest friends cheered for him. They were so happy for him. And then everybody was happy. The whole village was roaring. The chief slave was not happy at all. He was to serve the son, the old man's son, along with his fellow slaves, meant the farmlands, all the animals and everything that the old man had left behind. Thank you so much for watching. Until I come your way again with another wonderful video of mine, it's bye-bye. I plan to share with you this morning the story of two friends, two best friends who embarked on a journey together. And it happened that on their way, going along the journey, while traveling together, one of the jolly good friends just, I don't know, they were discussing, and then suddenly just gave his best friend a hot slap. And then it shocked the best friend, it shocked him. And then this best friend looked, it was hot. He was surprised, was shocked. And then what did he do? Instead of giving his best friend a return match, instead of retaliating, he just smiled. And then he bent down, he wrote on the sand, "Today, my best friend gave me a hot slap." He wrote with his hand in the sand. And the best friend was wondering, what's this guy doing? Well, he thought, okay, maybe he just wanted to finish writing before giving him the retaliation, before giving him his change. But then he just stood up, kept on walking. So as they were going, they continued their journey, and they were going. They kept on going, they kept on going. This friend did not complain. The one who was slapped did not complain. He did not give him a receipt. They just continued their journey. But then something happened. As they were walking, the one who was slapped unknowingly walked into a quicksand, so he was drowning. Okay? Then, quickly, the friend who slapped the one who was drowning quickly got a stick, looked for a stick to drag, for the friend to hold on, and for him to be able to drag his friend out of the quicksand so that he would not drown. So, after getting over the shock, the stress, and the fear of being drowned in the quicksand, as soon as he got away from the quicksand, this friend that was almost drowning in the quicksand, who was slapped by his best friend, saw a big stone. He now looked for a small stone to write, to engrave on it. Said, this day, my friend saved my life from drowning in the quicksand. Okay? This friend marveled. He marveled that, what is this? I slapped him the other time. He wrote on the sand. And now, after saving him, he's engraving it on the stone. My friend, why on a stone now? The other time I slapped you, you wrote it on the sand. The friend now smiled. He smiled. He said, well, that slap was painful. And I was hurt. I was shocked. Even though we were discussing, you didn't like what I said. Okay, you gave me a hot slap. I could have retaliated. But then I wrote it on the sand. The wind of time would blow it away. Would blow it away, erase it. But this one, you saved my life now. The wind of time cannot blow this away. That's why I engraved it on a stone. So, the lesson here is that whenever someone hurts us, let us write it on the sand of forgetfulness, so that the wind of time will blow it away. Alright? And let us engrave those good things people have done for us. Let us engrave it on a stone of our hearts, where we will not forget the good things they have done for us. The title of this story is Sand and Stone. Which is better? When you want to write your memories, good or bad, which one do you write, on the sand or on the stone? So until I come your way again with a wonderful video, do well to subscribe. Please comment. Please like. In the spirit of Christmas, I just decided to share this story with you so that you know there is a lot of merriment going on. You are meeting long-time friends. You are meeting the larger family that you have not seen in a long time. You are meeting people you haven't seen in a long, long time. So let's, in the spirit of sharing love, sharing joy with one another, let's engrave in the heart, in the stone of our hearts, good memories till when next you will see them again, or while you are missing them. Those will give you, they will serve as good memories that will put a smile on your mind. Put a smile on your mind. And then you look forward to seeing them again with those lovely memories. Thank you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to be working? Like your efforts doesn't matter? Well, before you give up, listen to this story. Maybe it will change the way you see your struggle. There was once a man who worked as a stone cutter. Every day, he struck the stone in front of him with his hammer. He hit it once, nothing happened. He hit it again, still nothing happened. He hit it 10 times, still nothing. He hit it like up to 50 times. Guess what? Nothing happened. Then he braced up himself. Now hit it 100 times more. Guess what? The rock remained unshaken. Nothing happened to the rock. This is singular act attracted his neighbors. In fact, people would always come to watch him do that same fruitless effort. They started laughing at him. Some even went and said, well, man, stop wasting your energy. Stop wasting your strength. That rock can never break. That rock is rock solid. You can never break it. But the stone cutter kept on going day after day, strike after strike, relentlessly going every day, striking the stone with his hammer. And then, on one blessed morning, he went, as usual, take his hammer, struck it. He kept on striking. After the 101st strike, he just heard that sound, crack. The rock made a crack. The rock made a crack and split into two. And then you know what happened. Because usually this had become a side attraction to his neighbors and passers-by, who are now interested in wondering what will happen between this man and the stone. So they gasped with surprise when they all had that loud. They were surprised. The audience were shocked. They gasped. They thought it was the last strike that made it to crack. But the stonecutter smiled, looked at them, all of them. He took a good look at his audience, shook his head, said, "Oh no, it wasn't the last singular strike, but every single strike contributed to this crack. It wasn't the last strike, but every single strike before that, all the strikes since the beginning, all contributed to the final cracking of the stone." Moral in this story is that life is just like that rock. You're working on something, success may not even be in view at all. Everything may seem futile. But the lesson is that never should you give up. Like the stonecutter, imagine if it had given up sooner, it would not have achieved the results you wanted. Success rarely comes from one big single action, but from every small effort that you keep making every single day. Every effort that you keep making, when you are building momentum, then it begins to add up until the success shows up. You may not see the result at first, but every single effort is building pressure. Every time you try, you are making progress. Never should you give up. Don't even think of quitting. Keep trying, keep making efforts, keep moving forward. Therefore, when the breakthrough eventually shows up, it won't be mere luck. It will be what? The result of your consistent effort on daily basis. The breakthrough usually comes based on consistent effort that you make on daily basis. Whenever you feel like giving up, quickly remember the stone cutter. Your next strike might be the one that changes everything. Thank you for watching. Until I come your way again with another wonderful story or video with another topic, don't forget to like, comment, share it with someone to make their day, to encourage them. If you're here to subscribe to this channel, Tiana's World by ChristyNuga, please go ahead and do that. There's a saying that says, rock bottom will teach you lessons that the mountaintop never will. Today, let me share with you a story that just proves how true that is. Come along with me. There is a man, his name is David. At the age of 35, his life fell completely apart. Everything started going wrong with him. Mr. David lost his job, a company where he has worked for 10 good years. Little savings he had saved up dried up within months. Then, sadly, the pressure of unpaid bills started piling up. What do you think? We'll follow next. All his so-called friends stopped picking up his calls. This began to give Mr. David a whole lot of concern, to the extent that he started losing sleep and started experiencing sleepless nights. Mr. David started wondering while awake on his bed in the night, dead of the night, was wondering how things quickly collapsed, how things quickly fell apart. His friends vanished. Well, he had to start to sell things in his apartment. Had to sell a lot of things. Started with the cushion, the settees, tables, lamps, a lot of things. So one evening, lying on the floor in his almost empty apartment, then the thought of giving up completely just came up to his mind. So while thinking on how to go about not trying again, what should he do? What does he want? Someone who has given up, who is thinking of giving up, what does the person do? Do you just stay there, don't do anything, sell up everything in the apartment? Okay, become homeless, go hungry, kill yourself, and all that. I was just thinking, ruminating over everything over and over. What do I do? How does one give up? At what point does one start to give up? What is the process of giving up? I started thinking, how do I give up? Do I just stop breathing? Do I just empty the apartment and then go on the streets? Do I start begging? He thought a whole lot of ways to give up. How do I give up? What happens after I give up? How do I survive after I have given up? What happens to me if I don't do anything again, if I don't try again? What will happen to my life? What will be the quality of my life after now? Are things not bad enough yet? He thought. Oh God, help. God, if only you will help me. If only you will make a way. Started thinking, didn't know what to do. Started rolling all over the floor of his almost empty apartment, looking for, as if someone should just come and show him what to do, tell him what to do, instruct him on a way out of this mess. So, while rolling all over the place, scattering whatever remained in the place, in the almost empty apartment, something just whispered to him, as if talking to him. It says, what if tomorrow looks different? What if tomorrow, if only you just try, give it another shot, maybe look for a job, maybe look for, maybe you visit someone who used to be a mentor to you, maybe you look for how to try on that business again, if it will click. Or maybe that's your business idea, you can try to look for a partner. You know, that thing just crossed his mind as if whispering to his ears. What if you just try again? What if something different happens? So, Mr. David made a promise to himself. All right, he got up. I will make simple steps, one step on daily basis. I'll try reconnecting with those who used to be my mentor. Try to reconnect with those who used to be my friends. And now, anyone that slams his door at my face, I'll know definitely don't want to see me again, and that's it. Bye-bye. So I'll just take one little step per day. Anywhere it leads, I'll follow. Yes, he made that singular promise to himself to try again. But guess what? It was futile. It was futile. It was humiliating. It was a no-no. It was rejected from jobs where he applied to, rejected over and over and over again. It was so humiliating. He almost killed himself. Went everywhere, sharing resumes that nobody is interested to read. Well, he kept on going about anyway. You know, he promised himself he's going to try. One simple step every single day to apply for a job. And he went about doing just that. He would go everywhere, look for anywhere and everywhere, whether there's a vacancy post, whether there's no vacancy post, he just kept on walking to that place. He walked there, dropped his resume, and left. If they like, drop it in the dustbin, he won't care. He just worked on dropping his resumes. So while he was at it, weeks turned into months, and then he still kept on going, right? A lot of times he would sleep without any food. Remember, he doesn't have any money. His little savings are dried up. So whatever he was able to gather, at times he would just drink water and go to bed. And it was beginning to show on him. This went on for weeks, into months. And then one small company called him for a role in a small startup. Of course, quickly, Mr. David, you have this opportunity. And he gave it his best shot. He was so happy. Somebody gave him another opportunity after a long while, even on empty stomach with little energy. He didn't mind. He knew that there is light at the end of the tunnel for him. He gave it his best and learned new skills. Slowly, he built his value. David rose in ranks, and years later, he became the CEO of that same startup company that gave him opportunity. Wow, look at life. David, or Mr. David, the man who spent several days going hungry, now can afford to feed hundreds of families. He now is able to feed hundreds of families through the jobs he created. Note this, that his rock bottom wasn't his end, rather it was the beginning of his breakthrough. Well, because he didn't allow it, or maybe you can say it's because the universe smiled on him. Remember this, that life has a way of rebuilding you in the dark, but only if you refuse to quit. Take notes. Rock bottom isn't a place for you to stay. It's a place to rise from. If you feel like giving up, remember David. But remember this, what he did, promised to himself, he would take one small step every day, and it worked for him. Try it. Maybe it will work for you too. If this story has resonated with you, share it with somebody who may need it. Like it, comment. Until I come your way again. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, Tennis World, do not hesitate to do that. Thank you very much. Right now it's a wrap. Bye-bye. Have you ever felt like giving up? Like no matter how hard you try, success is too far away? Well, allow me to tell you a story that will change the way you see your struggles. There was a young man who had a dream of becoming a very successful man. But life didn't make it easy for him. He failed in school. He was rejected from jobs. He had tried all sorts of jobs. It still wasn't good enough. This made everyone around him that knew him to tell him that with the way he's going, he will never make it. The pain of failure followed him everywhere. One day, After yet another rejection, coming from a job where he was just turned down, no vacancy, to try and see if they could use him. And after a week, they told him, sorry, it was just not good. He wasn't the kind of person they needed. So he left. And then while he was going, he felt like fainting. So he had to sit down. He saw a tree, actually, somewhere by the roadside. So he sat under it. While under this tree, I was just thinking, oh, how long am I supposed to try and keep trying? Till when? For how long? Years keep rolling from year to year, time keep going. The times are going. How long will I keep trying? I was tired. Well, they thought that, well, the only way for him is to just stop trying. Just give up. His mind just told him, well, okay, all this trying. It's not for you. Just give it up. Just stop trying. So he thought, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe I just over-imagined my potentials. Maybe I'm asking for too much. But then, he noticed something strange. Yes, he noticed somewhere near where he sat, under the tree, a little bird just dropped. So the bird was trying to fly again. It couldn't. So the flapping of its wings actually caught his attention, distracted him from his long thought of giving up. So then he was wondering what's going on. So he was looking at the bird. He was looking at how the bird was struggling, how it would try to fly using its wings and to drop again. But you know what's actually now caught his attention the more? This bird, after falling, instead of quitting, instead of stopping the attempt of flying again, kept on kept on making that attempt, flapping his wings, trying to fly again, and on each time it tried, it fell, kept on falling and falling again. So he was actually interested. He was watching. He wished he could try and help, but then the only thing he could do was just watching. So okay, I was watching. What's going on? He thought, oh, this bird, if he doesn't stop trying, it's going to faint. And then something happened. He now tried harder, flapped his wing harder, and then soared into the sky. He noticed. At that very moment, he noticed something important. It just came to himself that, well, what just happened? Even a bird made several attempts, kept on making that attempt and did not give up. Flapped its wings even harder each time, kept on flapping it until it got it and was able to gain momentum and flew into the sky. See, at that very moment, he realized something powerful. He realized that success isn't about never failing. It is about refusing to quit. Well, he stood up, wiped his tears, and made up his mind. Said to himself, I will try one more time. This one more time, I will give it a shot. I will try harder. This one more time. If I fail, I will try again. If I fail, I will keep trying. Just like the bird, he decided to never think of quitting. So he told himself, if I fail, I will keep trying and I will never quit. I'm going to work on myself to get better. I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to get better and I'll keep trying harder and harder. But I'll never quit. Do you know what happened to this man? He made it. After several years, he built a big empire. He inspired millions of people. He kept on telling his stories to anyone that he found trying to give up. And this inspired everyone, and everyone came to listen. With this, his achievement, he was able to prove everyone who had told him he would never amount to anything. He was able to prove them wrong. Not only that, he achieved something. He inspired a lot of people, helped them to also achieve something. And he was able to motivate a lot of people into not thinking about quitting. You might say, well, he kept on trying, but he failed, he kept on failing. He was going to turn down severally. Well, he was only able to achieve this because he made up his mind to keep trying. He was able to get to this point where his stories is inspiring millions of people all over the world. He was able to do that for one singular act. He told himself he would never stop trying. He told himself to never quit. He made up his mind to never stop allowing anyone reject him. He kept on improving on himself, and he kept on trying and trying again. This man refused to give up when life got tough. You need to raise up yourself, even as your challenges are telling you to your face, no way for you. You need to toughen up and tell yourself, yes way, there is way, and I'll make it. Tell yourself, psych yourself, and tell every fiber in your body that you will make it. That's the way forward. Just remember this. Failure isn't the end. Rather, it's the beginning of your comeback story. If he had given up, there wouldn't be any story to inspire anybody. But today, his story is sweet. When life knocks you down, rise up. Raise up yourself. Because your breakthrough may just be one more try away. If this story touched you, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope today. Never forget that you are stronger than your struggles. Thank you for watching. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so. Comment, like, and let me know how this story has resonated with you. Remember to keep watching Tiana's World by ChristyNuga. Until I come your way again with another wonderful story, it's a wrap for right now. Bye-bye. I could remember the day I almost lost everything. 2 years ago, I sat on my bed. The rain was falling, but it was more like it was raining in my heart. Something happened so much that, I don't know, I was just almost giving up. I almost gave up. It's not easy. You're pursuing things, you're working hard, and things are not just gelling. They're not just falling into place. The outcomes are not commensurate with your effort. Man. So this particular day, I was so overwhelmed. And then I just thought, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Maybe I should just give up. Maybe I should stop worrying myself. Maybe it's just not meant to be. And then my phone rang. I checked it. It was from an old friend of mine. As in, it was a message on my phone. We went to school together a couple of years ago, and those times when we had not known the Lord. Then my phone rang again. It was a message from another friend. But this one was a message that as in direct, you inspire me. How are things with you? Well, we're still girls then, ladies. Okay, let me just say, or youths then. So she said, I used to inspire her then. And then I wonder, well, one thing I could remember is just that time I was really trying to know the Lord. A lot of things were happening in my life, and I was actually on my way getting to know the Lord. But then I was caught in between whether I want to really go in or not. And then, so I read the note again. It inspired me. It's good to see your picture again. How are you? Wonder how you look. How are things? I wonder how things are with you now. And then I remember those days. This was a lady that we used to, we were still hustling there, as in knowing that it was tracking us. So we're going everywhere, telling everyone, whoever wanted to listen, would talk to them about Christ and things like that. This man, if I should mention his name, he would know, in Nigeria, who was interested in marrying her then. So it's this rich man that has been catering for she and her family. He even went as far as opening a shop for the mother, and so they were really doing well. The business was moving and things like that. So because of that, she didn't want anything to do with me and my friend. Well, it got to a point where I wanted to do something. It was just not pulling through. I was thinking, my mind was saying, are you sure this? I almost gave in. I almost stopped. Actually, that's why parents need to check once in a while, even though your children are growing up. Still check on them. How are they doing? What they say they're doing. Okay, mommy, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yes. What exactly is it that you're doing? Be interested. Be more active. Be involved in whatever they are doing. I almost actually lost my life. I almost lost everything. But thank God, because brethren rallied around me, and there's this youth group. Because I was new, I nearly gave my life to Christ. I and my friends, they would come for, as after fellowship, if they didn't see us, they would come look for us. And, all right, so the issue that I just remember that time when I almost lost everything, including my faith in Christ. See, this particular day, I don't know what came over me, and then I normally didn't used to go to that place. Normally, I didn't used to be careless when it comes to things that has to do with business. I didn't used to be careless, but then I just felt, okay, this is a friend that I've known, and then let's go. And then I went not knowing that it was not a good idea. So, but thank God, because it was that my friend that we gave our life to Christ together who called my attention As in, who made me realize that, come, what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? Because I was just tired. I was overwhelmed. I felt, what exactly is this thing? Is it worth it? Should I just give up? So, well, here I am today. I thank God because it's all a story and the Lord made it to be so. I'm thanking God and the Lord is at work. Thank God. Well, here's what I learned. That's many years back. That giving up, if I had given up that day, I would never have received the reward that came to me much afterwards. That's number one lesson. And I want you to know that giving up is a prevention of whatever you would have gotten. So giving up is a no-no. It's a bad idea. Never even think of it. Again, another lesson that I learned from that singular experience is that the darkest moments usually come up just at the brink of one's breakthrough. See? The darkest moment usually shows up just at the brink of one's breakthrough. So you need to be aware. You need to be sensitive. You need to, even at times one may not know what one is doing. But if you're around somebody who cares enough to know to watch who is watching what you're doing and things like that, can call your attention. Hello. Okay, another lesson learned from that simple experience that one's pain can become someone else's hope. That is, when you go through an experience and you're able to scale through, you went through all the rigors, it becomes a lesson to you that you can use as experience that you can use to teach someone. Probably would say, what exactly happened? Well, what happened is that I was a member of the Youth Independence Television Radio Program Producers Association, and then I had this concept for television program. All right, I went everywhere, even companies for sponsorship and everything. Do you know there are sharks in this industry? It's not good. It's not fair on upcoming creators or people who are just trying to get their own breakthrough. Do you know that someone, instead of helping me, instead of assisting me, was telling me, let me just buy you off. Wanted to give me 2 million. And then I sell the concept, the idea. It's just somewhere in Lagos, at Mondo side. I had an office. I was using that place. I had members that were casts, my cast. All right. And then imagine if I had sold it. So I just thought that no, this concept sells it. I've gone to AIT, gone to everywhere, Silverboard, everywhere, all TV stations, even companies, everywhere. But they wanted me to start running it on air first. So what did I need? The association I joined, where instead of them giving me ideas and things like that, or how they would come in, well, just on my neck for juice. I was so overwhelmed. I nearly gave up. But then, this particular day, I just thought within myself, no, maybe it just wasn't meant to be. Well, that's a theory. But that program is what brought about my magazine, 20 Works. That's the idea that I used to write that magazine. And I sold thousands of it. Thank you very much for watching. If my story motivates you, it's a story to tell you not to ever give up. Never ever should you cross your mind to give up, because success might be very, very near, might be around the corner. So if you give up, what will be your gain? If you give up, what will be your gain? All right? Never give up. Keep going. Just keep going. There's something they call push. Pray until something happens. Yes, let it be your motto too. Pray until something happens. Pray until your success happens. Keep praying. Even after the success happens, keep praying, because God is able. Thank you very much for watching. Until I come up your way again with another wonderful video of mine. Subscribe. Like, comment. Let me know in the comments what part you enjoyed in the story. Thank you very much. Share it with your friends and family. Remember to engage, not just subscribe, engage with my videos, watch and like it, share it with friends, with everybody. Thank you very much. Always watch the as well. Today, I did my share in building the nation. I drove a permanent secretary to an urgent official function. I drove a permanent secretary to a special function at the VIC. The menu reflects its importance. Cold beer with small talks, fried chicken with a lot of niceties, wine to feel the hollowness of the laughs, ice cream to cover the stereotype jokes, coffee to keep the PS awake on the return journey. I drove the permanent secretary back. He yawned so many times in the back of the seat while I was driving him home. Then to keep him awake, he suddenly asked, "Did you have any lunch, my friend?" I replied, looking straight ahead and secretly smiling at his belated concern that I had not, but was slimming. Upon which he said with seriousness that amused me more than annoyed me, "Mwanachi." That's me, that's my name. Mwanachi. I had no food too. I was busy attending to the matters of the state. That was a highly delicate diplomatic matters, very stressful. And friend, it goes against my grain because it's my stomach ulcers and wind. He continued, yawning again. The pains we suffer at building this nation. The pains we suffer. The pains we suffer in nation building. The pains we suffer, friend. You have no idea what we suffer at building the nation. So the permanent secretary. The PS has ulcers too. Ulcers, I think, are poorly painful. Only that they are caused by hunger and not by sumptuous lunches. So, two nation builders arrived home this evening with terrible stomach ulcers. The result of nation buildings in different ways. Thank you as you like it, as you comment, and please do not forget to share it. If you are here to subscribe to my channel, thank you. Please do subscribe. Till I come your way again. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas in advance. Set out for a Sunday afternoon flight on a small plane. So while going on the journey, the plane developed a fault, and this pilot tried his best to see what he could do till the end of the flight. But he had to give up because his efforts was fruitless. And then, so that everyone would not crash, he decided to announce to the passengers, "Hello everyone, there are parachutes here. The plane is going down. I've tried my best. Everyone pick up your own parachute and then jump." So, he yelled. Unfortunately, there are only 3 parachutes remaining. The doctor grabbed one parachute, said, "I am a doctor. I save lives, so I must live." And jumped. Then, the lawyer picked up the parachute and shouted, "I am a lawyer, one of the smartest people on earth. I must live. One of the smartest people in the world. I deserve to live." He also grabbed a parachute and jumped. Then, the priest looked at the little boy, told him, "Boy, I have lived long enough. I've seen a lot. You are still young. You have your whole life ahead of you. Take this parachute and live a good life." Guess what the little boy said to the priest? The little boy said, "Father, oh father, take the parachute. The smartest man in the world, the smartest person in the world just picked my backpack and flew and jumped." What's the moral of the story? Well, your profession actually does not determine your smartness. It is being a good person that determines how smart you are. Because the so-called smartest person, one of the smartest person on earth, thought he picked a parachute, but it was just an ordinary backpack he picked, and away he flew, and away he flew. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. He flew away, 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 away. He flew. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you're yet to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. And comment, like, share with your friends and family. This is a motivational story for us to always look out to be nice to people. Why? Because he could have looked out to how they would share the parachute. Maybe somebody will carry the boy and they can share. Okay. So, but then he was just concerned for himself. I'm one of the smartest people on earth. I deserve to live. And then he took off. He did not know that. He just committed suicide. Thank you very much.